Good afternoon, everyone. Again, thanks for joining, and hopefully, you all are able to start. I mean, the first week is actually probably the most challenging week. Getting access to the what do you call it, the website, and also the folders and everything. I hope you all had a chance to look at what Chad has sent. So what I'll do is the way we'll get started is. I mean, there is no formal format for this Q&A session. Uh, at least this time, I will ask maybe start with Chad and he can explain what he posted, what you guys should have. Then maybe we can hear from you. Does that sound okay, Chad?
Yes,
You can go through all the things you loaded, where they are, what's in the README files, and maybe we
sure.
can open up for questions. We got an hour, so hopefully they have lots
Yeah,
of questions.
right. I won't take too much time. First, welcome everybody. It's good to see all your names popping up on the Google Meet. Uh, so we are using Box to transfer files back and forth. And you've probably all seen the emails from NSIN that discuss the Box file structures. So today, the thing that's important is the file or the folder called RFSSC rounds 2-4 files for participants. Uh, so first of all, uh, is anybody on the call unable to access Box? Okay, good. So I created a subfolder in that lengthy named folder called round 2. And then in there, I put exemplar signals folder and exemplar scenes folder. And then Ensign also put the recording of our kickoff meeting that we held recently in that same round 2 folder. In the future, we'll create round 3 folder and put things there, and a round 4 folder and put things there. For now, we're just in the round 2 folder. So then the crucial things are the exemplar signals and exemplar scenes folders. And the exemplar signals folder, I've got some large zip archives. One is called PU exemplars v1.zip, and the other one is SU exemplars v1.zip. And hopefully you're kind of navigating to that now and following along, making sure you can see that. To explain the contents of those 2 zip files, I've got a text file called exemplar signals v1 readme.txt. So that's the kind of the key to the kingdom there. Read through that text file. It'll explain the naming conventions for the signal files and the file format, which is SIGMF, and some other details about those files. So those are small number of examples of each mathematically defined file from the participant guide to help you in the creation of your own data sets, especially for machine learning type approaches where you will likely need to train on a lot of examples. So I will just back up now and say in the round 2 exemplar scenes folder, I've placed our first baby scene, and that is also SIGMF format, and that's called exemplar 1 underbar 50 megahertz underbar 1 second dash data. So it's about 400 megabytes. And that has a couple signals in it. The rest of the files in round 2 exemplar scenes explain exemplar scene 1. So there's some figures, like a bounding box figure and a spectral occupancy figure. And there is the truth, which is in the scene info exemplar1.map file. And then there's a rather long README file here that explains the scene and the truth. And that's going to be important going forward because the matrices that represent what we call truth are the kinds of things that you'll have to send to us in the other folders. So that's all I've done so far. We could have errors in these things or inconsistencies that you point out to me. And so everything's coded with a V1 in case we're going to have to do V2, exemplar 1 and exemplar signals. So that's it. It's your time. If Vasu agrees, I think we should just see if people are having questions.
Yes, that's what this whole hour is for them to ask questions, right?
Okay.
Jeremy Reed has his hand up.
So one question is for the signals. Did they have the header, for example, the QAM and the PSKs?
Do they have a header?
Yeah, there's supposed to be like the block for like the primary user signal, right? The P value is 1,000. At every 1,000 symbols, there should be 50 repeating symbols that are meant. Is that in there?
That is not in there.
Okay. Okay.
Did you look for it?
Yes.
So between the time that I posted the signals and this moment, I did discover that there was a typo in some C code that creates the pilots. I call them the pilots.
Well, I was able to at least verify the signal constellations. So that's
good. That's very good, Jeremy. The signal constellation should still be exactly as advertised, but you will not be able to find yet the repeated pilots in the PSKs and QAMs.
okay. I have not yet looked at OFDM, but I'm just wondering
Okay.
some of these things were questions I had just in the guide. But
Okay.
are there going to be guard band carriers or DC nulls?
All of the carriers, subcarriers are defined, I believe, in the participant guide. So when I say N carriers, that means N carriers with power.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you did have mention about with the pilot values. It says that they'll be constant per instance, but a question about is an instance like the whole one signal collect, or is an instant, they'll transmit for a few OFDM blocks for a time, be silent, then transfer another instance of signal, and all of the blocks in that burst, if you will, are going to be the same, but they could be very burst to burst.
Yeah, it's more the latter. It's an instance would be a single bounding box inside the scene that corresponds to that signal.
Okay.
So the bounding box, is defined as when the power goes from 0 to some non-zero value, and then from the non-zero value back down to 0. So in that instance, which I guess we would normally call that some kind of burst, then it's the same.
Okay. And then are the last question, at least initially, are the OFDM signals going to be windowed at all?
No.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
Sure. You are really paying attention. Keeping me on my toes.
Joseph Crawford has his hand up.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, just a quick question on the formatting. I know you were saying that like the example scene is in a SIGMF format, but I guess to be compliant with the SIGMF format, it's supposed to have like a meta file associated with it and a .SIGMF data file. Like it being a binary file that you tell us in a README what the data isn't technically a SIGMF file. It's just a binary file, right?
Yes. And so, yeah, so the metadata files are relatively information poor here. So even though each signal file, each binary data file for the signals is accompanied by a metadata file, there's not a lot of information in those. Those are just there to aid people who have software systems and ingest these kinds of things that just require the metadata file to be there.
Yeah, I guess not trying to be persnickety, but like unless you actually have a .sigmf-meta or and a .sigmf-data, then none of that works, right? So we have to, essentially with all these, we had to rename them all and add that to be able to read them in as they are.
You mean the signal files or the scene?
Both, I guess. The signal files, I mean, it's trivial. I don't know if moving forward, but like they end in like -data and -meta, but there is like a spec. It's supposed to be like .sigmf-meta, .sigmf-data.
Ah, okay.
Just it's a minor thing, but if any automated code would not find the associated like meta file for the data file or data file for the meta file with the extensions wrong, I guess.
I can change that.
Yeah, it's a minor thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. And then I'll add one for the exemplar scene 1 too. So similar. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ryan. That's why I'm doing V1. I'm sure you will all find things for me to improve upon.
Are there any other questions?
In the scenario, were you for this version, were you going to give like what the channels were, just if we want to verify that our channel models are at least similar in spirit to what you guys are doing?
So in exemplar scene 1, all the propagation channels are impulsive. There's no
Okay,
there's no
just
channel.
AWGN. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
But Chad, to answer that question, the exemplar, we were planning to give 3 scenes after, first few weeks, depending on how well they do on the first one, right? The next 2 scenes, are we going to add some channel conditions or no?
I have created those scenes and they do not have propagation channels. They just increase in complexity in how the
Okay.
signals are arranged in time and frequency. Looks like Jim has a question. Sounds like a Vasu question. It's in the chat.
It says, I was reading that, can we schedule this for a 2 o'clock time frame? I don't have any issues. My only problem is it might conflict, 2 might conflict with another person. Then we have to change it to 3. I don't know. I'm open as long as everyone. How about here? We have I don't think we have everyone here. Is everyone okay with 2?
No, I'm sorry. My question
Vasu,
wasn't
I
to
think
change
he
the
was
time. My
asking.
question was more, when does round 2 end? I think at one point I saw September 2nd,
Oh,
but then
I'm
I
sorry.
thought I saw September 13th.
Got it. I'm sorry. My bad. I was thinking, when does this round 2? Round 2 is the training session, right?
Yes.
Yeah, training session ends September 13th. And we gave ourselves some slack, like 4 or 5 days or 3 days to post the real challenge. The round 3 is the first round of challenge. So that gives us a few days to post those questions there, the real challenge scenarios. Does that answer the question? Because it ends on 13th. Officially the last time you can ask questions is September 13th. September 19th, I think you should be seeing all the round 1, the challenge round scenarios.
Round 3. Yeah.
Round 3. We got too many rounds and phases, I get all mixed up. Does that answer the question? I mean, I agree.
Yes.
There is
Yes, thank you.
too many.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think Ryan's back in.
Yeah, just a quick. Can I ask one clarifying question on round 2? So it says something about like one of the schedules said there's a down selection after round 2, but then it sounds like round 2 is just training on these 3 easy scenarios. Are we expected to deliver some kind of results at the end of round 2? And if so, on what? Or
Yes, the answer is yes. After in round 2, there is no down selection, right? It's a training phase. But when we are given the exemplar scenes, you guys are expected to turn in the results, because it's mainly a practice session for you guys to kind of see how you need to deliver the, your results, and also gives us an opportunity to go through the scoring mechanism and relay that back to you.
So there won't be any down selection.
Yeah, there's no down selection, but it gives us an opportunity as a team for each of individual and us to really evaluate, how to submit the scores, how to evaluate, and when we can return the scores back, then you can compare with the truth.
Yeah. So Ryan, we're trying to.
yeah, I think that I just want to make sure we clarify that, because on the website it's like key dates round 2, and then it says September 5th, solution development closes and down selection begins. And it has
Yeah.
inside of round 2 on the schedule.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we had many versions of these things, and I think the wrong version got posted and never fixed.
Okay.
I'm glad you caught it, but like I said, round 2 there is no down selection, but we will go through the whole thing. Scenarios. It's mainly practice on every aspect of this challenge.
And practice for us too,
Oh yeah.
right? We're humans too. So
See,
we want to make sure that we go through the whole chain of here's some data and you guys do your thing and then you send us data and then we do our thing, and the whole thing gets exercised a couple times so that we don't run into problems, or we minimize the number of problems that we have once we give you the 10-second scenes that are much more difficult.
right. And also the 3 scenes, how well as a group you're analyzing where you are, also gives us an opportunity to create the first round challenge. Even though we have about 8 to 10 scenes already developed with varying degrees of difficulties.
Mhm.
We are not just going to use those canned scenes we developed before this challenge, right? This training period, 6 weeks, will kind of tell us what kind of a classroom we have. We don't want to give something where everybody fails, right? We want to make sure, like, we
Or that's
prepare.
too easy.
Yeah,
Or that's too easy. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
I don't know. It'll be too easy based on but I think you're right. I mean, some of these guys can blow this off
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
make us look bad. But anyway, the 6 weeks also helping us understand what's really hard, what's really easy, so that we'll go back and redo those challenge scenes.
There's another question in the chat.
Will there be a down select after round 3?
That's for you again, Basu.
Sorry, I was muted. So round 3 is the first challenge round where we are going to give you guys 3 scenarios, 3 scenes, like easy, hard, harder, or something like that, crawl, walk, run. And again, we will evaluate the scores, and we would like to kind of select up to 5, depending on how they are to the finals. I think Megan was going to update. We talked about the schedule. The one I have on my uh, presentation when I gave is kind of different. I don't know if you all have the slides there. I think that's probably more accurate than one's on the one on the website.
The kickoff slides, you mean?
Yeah, the kickoff slides. Yep.
Yeah.
I think Megan has the kickoff slide. Maybe we can, or maybe I can post it on the on the
Box.
box folder. So
Yeah, that would be fantastic, because I
Yep.
did see that in there, and yeah, that would be great. I'd appreciate it.
Yep, I think that's more accurate. I think they were going to change it. We haven't done that yet. Okay, will do.
Well, it's only been a couple of days, so it's kind of understandable that not everybody went looking for the pilots like Jeremy. But if there's no more questions, maybe we can cut it short.
Yeah, if there are no more questions, we don't have to spend the whole hour. But I'm expecting next week will be just Q&A questions from you guys. I think the quicker we have a deadline to turn in the deliverables, we call it scene 1, because then we want to release the next 2 scenes. Then I think the next 4 weeks or something, you guys can, however, at your pace. Some might go through all 3 scenes, some might only go through 2. I don't know, but at least we would like everyone to go through at least few exemplar scenes and give us the score back, because that will
Okay.
really help us understand how difficult the crawl, walk, run, or how easy it should be.
So I think we have a couple actions. One is to improve the names to
Yep.
reflect the Sigma MF standard a little bit better. And then we want to post our kickoff slides to Box.
Where would I put it? In wherever you're putting your
Yeah, I
round
think
two?
just put it in round 2 there where the recording is. It's
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good. We have so many
Wait.
folders. I want to make sure I put the right one.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
All right. If there are no more questions, going once, going twice, going thrice. We will see you guys next Friday.
Thanks everybody.
And
Thank you.
don't wait till next Friday. Post the questions on the Q&A, and Chad will definitely at least once a day at the end of the day, he will look at it and try to answer. I don't think you guys should wait till Friday if you have questions.
Okay.
All right.
Looking
Thank you.
forward to it.